Welcome everybody. Today we have Graham Sawrey. He'll correct me later if I did that wrong, but
Did great.
awesome, dude. Just fun and ready to chat with him. I don't want to like ramble on too much. Tell everyone about yourself.
Well, hi everyone. As Josh said there, my name's Graham. I work at a work own a company called pixeltrue.com, and we are a full service design company. So that's the main one of the main things I do with my time, etc. Own a couple other websites as well. Run and operate those too, but the main one is Pixel True. So it keeps us busy for sure.
I was looking at your website before hopping on, and I was just the caliber of what you offer. I'm like, wow, that's tremendous value for the price.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's what we try and do for sure. It's always a careful balance with trying to price offerings, etc. It's always a challenge, but I think we've met a pretty good little sweet spot for it. But thank you for checking out the website and things. Yeah, we've certainly had many compliments on the overall design of it, which is it's always nice. Always nice to hear.
It's very slick, clean. It's like weird to say it's very modern compared to most websites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's we have to be a little different being a design company. You gotta
Yeah.
gotta do something uh, for sure. So
Like
yeah, I appreciate it.
awesome. Yeah, I would say if I went into a normal like WordPress basic outline, it's like, she really
Yeah,
designed though.
that's right. Exactly. Do they really know what they're doing? Yeah.
So tell us a little about yourself, like your up and coming story, what led to this point, and all that.
Backstory wise, I was originally sort of career wise, I was in the finance industry,
Okay.
and ended up working for one of the largest private mortgage groups within Canada here, and did that for quite some time, and just working long hours put a lot of pressure on myself, I suppose, and just realized it's not really something that I was wanting to continue doing, just with the amount of time and effort involved, and wanted to jump out and start my own business, etc. So started buying a couple websites, running and operating those, and then came around to Pixel True a little over a year ago, and been doing that ever since.
So what were some of the websites that you started before you got to this?
Just a few content sites. There was it was a computer gaming website, how to build and to construct computers
Okay.
at different price points, helping people. Yeah, mainly the content was around constructing gaming computers at different price points. So choose a part, and that was back. That was back when the Bitcoin mining was really taking off. So it was actually it was very challenging to keep the content updated and fresh, because all the computer parts would go out of stock, and the price would fluctuate so much in a short period of time that it was when most of the articles were centered around a certain price point, $500,000, $1,500, etc. The price of the computer parts, the build of the construction would change from $1,500 at the time, and then it would jump up to $1,800 or something like that, which obviously didn't jive with the proper amount, and so you have to reconfigure that, and it was a lot of work and effort, and so end up selling that when realizing, ironically, got away from my other job because it was so much work and effort to try and keeping things up, et cetera, and then go to this gaming website where it was ironically the same thing. It was fine until uh,
Bitcoin.
the Bitcoin mining really hit, and then it was parts were out of stock and overpriced, and it was a wild time,
So
for sure.
was it predominantly like a blog or a video too?
It was mostly blog, and it was all blog. It was not talking about specifically piecing things together on video or anything like that. We stayed away from that. We don't have that many computers here to try and piece everything together. We weren't that established on like Linus Tech Tips, if you know that group, et cetera. Like they've been doing it for quite some time. They get sent all these parts and do all these things, so they're a lot more established. It was costly if you try and buy all these parts and put together videos, et cetera. So just stuck to the blogs. But that's how I sort of got started in the content world, and transitioned to a couple other websites, and environmental website on one, and dog website. Done a little bit of an e-commerce as well. Tried that. Well, the Pixel True is technically e-commerce as well, of course, since it does sell something online. But physical products is more what I'm talking about on e-commerce. So
was it like a drop shipping?
Dabbled a lot of stuff. Yeah, I did some drop shipping. Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people try that too. So, hey, had some success, but it's also just trying to find something that sort of fits with my overall personality and profile, something where you don't necessarily have to, if you have a right team, you don't have to be in the business all the time. And so that's sort of what I've built towards with the design company now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then what was that point you realized, oh, I should open the design site? Was it like all your friends kept asking you to like do designs for them?
Well, actually, the business or the website itself came up for sale. So I didn't actually start the website, but with after purchasing it, have really worked towards improving our service offerings, the types of offers that we do, our customer service, and a whole bunch of things. So had a lot of positives, but did not start it myself. Someone else did, and I sort of took over the reins and went from there.
It's very smart to do it that way. You don't have to worry about the foundations. You're just coming in on a pre-built foundation.
Yeah, the positives and negatives to both. Obviously, you pay for that.
Heavily
flexibility,
upfront, yeah.
right? I mean, it's a lot of sweat equity that another person's put in and has now earned something as a result of that. So, it's if you have the time and the know-how and the savvy and the moxie, et cetera, to do it yourself, then it's more profitable to start from nothing, and less risky other than your time, of course. If by buying a business, if something happens to fall off, the traffic starts to disappear, your clients start to leave or something like that, then you've bought something that doesn't earn any more money or anything like that. So that can be a problem too. So the risks of everything, you just have to make sure you're doing the right thing. And so far, so good for us.
So what was that journey that you went on that, like you said, you did the hard working with the bank company, then your gamer one. When did you realize you wanted the work-life balance, and how did you achieve it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've by nature, I've always been quite frugal. And so I sort of came to the conclusion that there are 3 different main reasons why people end up working.
Okay.
The first reason is that people work to survive, right? So the Maslow's hierarchy of needs type thing. Like, obviously you need to have enough money to be able to buy food, to have a place to stay, clothes, just basic needs type stuff. Hopefully within North America, there aren't as many people in that zone. And most people are in the second phase, where most people are working to retire. They want to stop working. They want to have enough money to be able to survive and meet those sort of basic needs or whatever it is, meet their lifestyle requirements. But they don't want to work anymore, right? That's largely most individuals, right? They are, if given a lottery ticket where they won umpteen $1 million, then most people would quit their jobs and not do anything, right? Those are the people that I'm talking about in that group too. And then there's a group 3 where there are people that don't necessarily need to work, but work because they very much enjoy it. And back when I was working before, I didn't feel that I actually met any of those levels. Because I'm frugal by nature. We had enough savings that we could live quite reasonably without having any income coming in, et cetera, just because of our savings and the spending that we have, et cetera. So I didn't fit in group 2. I didn't fit in group 1, and I didn't fully enjoy what I was doing. So I didn't fit in group 3. So where did that leave me? I had to go and try and find something in group 3. So that was the reason why I left and tried to go on into something else. I've always been interested in computers and the online world, websites, etc. So jumped into that, and then because I have finance sort of business acumen, etc. The online world of buying businesses is in a potentially lucrative or attractive place to invest. I mean, again, Google and there are always risks with buying any business, especially an internet-based business too. But it's always interested me. So the buying the design company is certainly more of an established one, but it's something that had a staff already, had a fairly good base that I could build off of and use a lot of my expertise, not necessarily in the design world, but more in the business management side of things, the growing of the business, client relationships, sales, even to a degree. All of those things I felt I could contribute to, and we've done some good work so far. So happy with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was some of the, I guess, the trials and tribulations when acquiring the new business that you weren't expecting when purchased? I ran out of words. When you purchased the business.
Trials, and anytime you step into someone else's business or house or car or whatever it is, everyone has their own way of doing things, right? Some people will drive a certain way. Some people will make their food a certain way, eat a certain way, run their business a certain way, et cetera. And so it's always a bit of call it a challenge to understand the landscape of how things are operating as it stands, and to fight and avoid making changes rapidly and right when you first come in, because coming from stepping into a new business where there are staff and other things involved, they don't know who you are, they don't know how you operate, et cetera. And so the best way to build a rapport and a relationship with these individuals, because some of them might be a little concerned. What is this person's trying to do? Are they going to like me, let me go, promote me? All these different questions going on. And so I find the best way is to just make sure that the ship is continuing as is. So you're not really rocking or shifting anything, adjusting things too much. It's just letting almost a status quo for a few months while you understand why things are done the way they are. If there are maybe some opportunities to change things, but not make them yet, just sort of build the rapport, et cetera, et cetera. So that's always a bit of a challenge, is fighting that. I think a lot of people's, if they do step into something and they maybe see something that isn't the way that they would do it, you want to jump in and fix it right away. Hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're doing this. You're shifted over here and make big changes. And so was the biggest challenge initially, for sure, is trying to fight that and know that you can make changes, but don't want to make them too quick. So that was a big one. And then later on, I mean, it's always a challenge looking for customers. You naturally want to be growing the business as much as possible. Right now, over the past however many months, the global economy has slowed down. So there's maybe a bit of a recession or whatever. There's definitely the word recession is being talked about quite often, et cetera. So that is always a a bit of a concern when you're writing a service-based business is, are clients going to be suffering as well? And so they have to make some cuts for things. There's always a bit of a concern too. So we've had maybe a few clients drop off and slow things down, but that's the nature of the business. So there's always that as well, is just constantly trying to find new ways to get in front of people, reach out to them, connect, and gain new customers too. So that's for every business. If anyone's a business owner listening to this, podcasting, everything, right, is how can we get out in front of more eyeballs? How can we do better every day? So.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's the biggest one, especially with how everything's shifting. You may have thought you had a consistent client, but due to a shift in the market or a trend, suddenly the client's gone and you're like, but what did I do wrong? Kind of thing.
Yeah, and sometimes you didn't do anything wrong. It's just, unfortunately, cuts have to be made. Big companies, small companies lay off staff a lot of times. And when you're a service-based company we don't have any commitments. You can go month by month, right? Like any sort of software or anything else. And so when you do provide that flexibility, then it's also easy to cut ties as well. So that's always a concern, but it's the life that we live as a business.
Yeah, especially in this fast-paced TikTok world where shit moves quick.
Absolutely. Yeah. TikTok's an interesting world, isn't it?
It is
very, very fast.
There was one time I stopped using it a while ago. Like, I know I should use it for marketing, but it's how the algorithm tickles my brain. I just don't like it. But in 5 minutes watching, so maybe like 5-8 clips, it went from one trend to immediately a new one was starting. By the 10th one, this one's already dead and this one started. I'm like, right. Whoa, that was so fast.
Yes. Yeah, you have to be on it for sure. You have to use it. It's fascinating, the different platforms. Just from our capacity as well, we have over the past few months really made more of a push to get into putting our brand out on social media, et cetera. So we use TikTok and we use YouTube Shorts are the main two that we use, just because our line of work is more visual. So the video platform does make sense. Instagram maybe a little bit, but the Reels haven't been as effective for us. But wildly different platforms between concepts of YouTube Shorts versus TikTok. And when one thing does reasonably well on TikTok, it doesn't necessarily translate over to YouTube. And it's just different audiences with different opinions. And it's very interesting. TikTok is, I feel like the more controversial, the more like it's like any publicity is good publicity. If you've heard that before, that's sort of, I think, the same thing with TikTok. Is my experience is that as long as you're polarizing or making some type of opinion, then that gets the algorithm going. It's interesting.
It is. I went on a trip in Italy, and my sister had her TikTok still on her phone, and she mentioned, she's like, "Wow, in New York the TikTok's different because we landed there for a minute." She's like, but in Italy it's even way more different.
Yes, they are very location specific, for sure. And that's one thing that we realize as well, because our staff is global, and so different people posting on our channel on TikTok for us, they would post from different countries, and the results or the views would be wildly different. We're trying to understand why, and we realized that was the case. And so it actually depends on where you upload the video as well, which is fascinating.
Absolutely fascinating.
How it changes things. So we now use a VPN and just make sure it's always from the same location every time we upload. It's the things you learn over time.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when I was doing that vacation, I took a GoPro video of me like jumping off a cliff. And I uploaded on YouTube Short. That's where I was like chuckling in my head. That thing went like viral. It got like 10,000 views, like almost under an hour. And I was like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, what the hell kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm like, oh, I'll upload it to TikTok kind of thing. Flop dead in the water. Didn't even
Right.
get like 50 views.
Yes.
And I was
I
like,
think, yeah, what's happened here? What's the, I know it depends on the market. YouTube, yeah, it's, we can talk for hours on things, but that's been my experience of it, is that YouTube was, it's just entirely different. As I said, like one video, you think, oh, well, this is done well in this, and for sure it will be like how different can the people be from one to the next? It's the same concept, shorts versus TikTok. It's got to be the same, right?
right.
Not
Oh,
so. Nope, not at all. So, yeah, it's an interesting world for sure, and just trying to navigate the branding aspect and trying to keep the algorithm happy, but also being able to promote our brand as well. Like, you put content out, you want to see something from it too, not just pat on the back that, yeah, you got some views out of it.
yeah, you got 2 views, and it's probably
Yeah,
you F5ing the page.
that's right. Exactly.
Is it up? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Um, I know we got that hard stop coming up here soon, so I wanted to just take it away. Is there anything in specific I might have missed that you want to cover?
No, I
I would say
mean,
you got like 5 minutes though.
well, I can talk. I mean, anything we want to talk.
We definitely got to reschedule one.
That's right. Well, thank you. Yeah. Look forward. I mean, what is it your audience is largely looking for? Because I'm happy to, are they business owners themselves
Yeah, the
for the most
business
part, you think?
owners probably overworking themselves, listening to one too many podcasts or
Yeah.
TikToks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does not have a work life balance.
Yeah. Yeah. The work-life balance is always challenging when you're a business owner and trying to get going on things. It's always a challenge when it is your own business, and any extra time that you put into the business, you should see something from it. So it's difficult to pull yourself away entirely. And then equally, say if there are some stresses too, how do you decouple that um, work stress or stress in general, potentially, and not bring that home to your loved ones and family members if you have them, etc. It's always a challenge. I recognize that it's no expert on my end as well necessarily, but just taking a moment, I think, and at least for me, if there are times where I'm maybe a little stressed or whatever it is I find, like, frankly, just, I guess, to use a word that's sort of like a hot word, I suppose, acknowledging your stress or whatever it is, and just saying, like, okay, yeah, this is what it is. Is there something that I can do about right now on this, or am I just stressing about it? And if there's nothing you can do it right then and there, then there's not much, there's not any point in continuing to stress about it in that time. Let's stress on work on actions that we can do after the fact. And if you're with your, I mean, I've got a family, 2 kids and wife, et cetera. And if you're there with your 2 kids and your mind is somewhere else, then yeah, you may as well not be there, or you may as well just focus on them and have their time, because they don't want to or care too much about your stress. I mean, I think ultimately your family members probably do, but they have their own things going on, et cetera. And so just enjoying the time and realizing that it's not necessarily their pressure as well, and just trying to enjoy time with them at that time, and then focus on things that you can actionably take after the fact too. So that's from a work-life balance. That's a very important part, is almost to compartmentalize your, you park your stress for the time being, live in the moment, and then go back to something and and try to actually take action instead of just stressing and not doing anything at all, and focusing more on the stress side of things. But I find that stress or whatever the thought of work-life balance, if you're always thinking about work, if you're always thinking about this one thing, then it will detract and pull away from your other your loved ones or your life outside of work, which is can be a challenge after a bit of time, right? If you want to have healthy relationships, you want to have a life outside of work eventually. I mean, that's going back to my 3 phases, right? You want to be able to enjoy what you're doing too. And so if you're always thinking about it and not spending time and enjoying with friends and everything else, then what's almost the point of why you're working to begin with. So
Absolutely. For me, I do martial arts on the side on top of the 15 other things I already do.
Yeah.
And then the biggest one I've told my instructor, I said, thank you for doing what you do. Cause he said it very bluntly. He's like, when you come through, cause he has a cool Japanese keyhole entrance.
Okay.
He said, when you come through that keyhole, all your shit is left outside that keyhole.
Right.
When you hear it's here. And then when you leave, you can pick it up. But usually when you leave, half of them are gone because you didn't attend to them.
Right.
And I've told them of that mindset of if I walk through this room, all my problems are outside that door until I reopen it, kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a great way. It's just another way of saying what I was getting at. It's a shorter version of it. But yeah, if you can work on exactly parking at some physical barrier where you just imagine leaving something behind and work on the present or whatever is in front of you, enjoying those moments, savoring your food, enjoying what it is you're eating rather than
just wolfing it down as quick as you can.
Well, there's so many small things that we can do. And I mean, when we talk on podcasts, it sounds like we're all experts and we're doing it all the time. I don't do it all the time, but it is a reminder that I try, and even doing these discussions, et cetera, that you realize you can enjoy meals a little bit more, not thinking about whatever else it is while you're eating. You can really enjoy the banana that you're having and really focus on that. And there's so many things you can just be more aware of, I think. And it's an exercise like martial arts, like a job, like whatever it is, it all is practice and everything with balance. It's important.
Extremely important.
Yeah.
I want to say our hard stop's coming up here. I don't want to bump into anything else for you.
Oh, thank you.
So where can everyone contact you at?
Well, certainly we do have, the company has social media presence, et cetera. I personally don't do a whole bunch of social media. We focus more on the business side of things. So if anyone wants to reach out to me specifically, I'm happy to. My email is just Graham, Graham, @pixeltrue.com. But we have a contact us page on our website as well, pixeltrue.com. And if there's anyone out there that's interested in actually looking at trying to help need some help with the design work, et cetera, then obviously happy to help in that regard. We know a thing or two about design. So
yes, they do.
Happy to help there.
All right. Absolute honor and pleasure to have you. You definitely need to come on again.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Josh. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Well, congratulations. You made it to the end. You're an awesome person. Not many make it here. So, being the awesome person that you are, can you do me one more awesome favor? Can you rate and review this on whatever podcast services you're using? If you do it on Apple and you leave an actual written review, I have a thing on my website. I will take your written review and post it for all to see. Congratulations. You're permanently sealed on my site. Otherwise, I am trying to do YouTube more and live streaming. I will try to put as many of the YouTube links in the description of the show as I can. So give your boy some extra help over on YouTube. Watch my videos. I just mute it and change the channel, change the window or something. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for being awesome and see you next time.